Hey folks, Segasonicfan here on the new workbench, and feel like it's been a long time since I talked about my digital microscope, which I use for so many of my videos and my work all the time. I love this thing, and the video I did a long time ago was, not the highest quality or anything. And while I don't have anything too special to say here, I figured I'd just give you guys some nice shots of the inside of this thing. Because it's really quite nice. This is the ADSM302, I believe. This is a 7-inch screen digital microscope. And I'm trying to remember all the different little hacks and things that I did back in the day. It looks like one of them is I put some foam tape back here for better supports behind the buttons, because I think the buttons were kind of hard to press. And yeah, a bit of a rundown of the hardware. You obviously have an LCD screen here. It's going to have an LED backlight, and you've got your ribbon connector, your FFC here for your button interface. You've got your display cable, and of course those go in there. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. I showed in the previous video, I'm not going to pull this off again, but the chipset and everything, which is, it looks pretty nice. It's actually labeled Andenstar, which is the company that this is sold by. There's a little save battery for settings and stuff like that. What's also interesting is and I messed around with this, you can see it from the flux residue left over. There is actually battery terminals, and this will actually work if you solder in a LiPo or whatever, probably just a LiPo battery, a little tiny one, and put it on the side. Basically what that makes it do is if you unplug the USB accidentally, it will actually still run off battery. Maybe somebody has a use for that. I don't know. The thing I really wanted to get working last time was a speaker and the microphone input here. And last time I took this apart, didn't have any luck with that. Gosh, I'm almost tempted to try again just because I would love for that to work. The speaker did have like a white noise, if I remember correctly, so it did actually... the audio output is in fact working. I could not get the audio input working. And my theory for that was the firmware wasn't actually set up for it. But I'm not sure. I'm sort of debating now if I used an incorrect microphone for that. Also a little bit curious, and it looks just like one of those little mini powered 5-volt microphones, but I don't know. Anyway, there's an LED output here. Kind of curious what that's for, because there's already 3 LEDs up at the top here, which are, I forget what they are, but I know 2 of them are power and writing to the SD card. Obviously these are your inputs. This is for your button interface. That's for your display. And then you have a reset button over here, HDMI, and a micro USB for power. Obviously, this is your SD card reader, and then this is actually used as a analog video output, which is kind of cool. Supports like on 480p monitor type stuff, 480i, I should say, and 240p. And what else can I say? Let's flip this over. We've got our camera connector for the lens that goes. That's the actual microscope. And not much else to say. This is the part that I, of course, was very interested in last time, which is the area with the parts for the microphone. And what's super intriguing, to me anyway, is that there's 2 diodes here, which appear, at least one of them, you can see the little trace there, goes to the microphone. So it's almost like it has at least part of the hardware, and but it looks like it might be missing a preamp, which would be probably a BGA chip. I'm thinking a 6-pin BGA that would go right there. I don't know. Curious to dive deeper into this, because boy would I love to dictate microscope videos and just record them onto the SD and have, me speaking on them. That sure would be, I think, helpful for all you folks for the repairs and stuff that I'm doing. But I'm not sure this was, God, I wish I had some schematics and firmware to go off of. And anyway, the reason I'm taking this apart today is because the HDMI jack became loose. Wasn't that much solder on the back pins here, and also, and this was I think the same problem with the micro USB, the solder lugs towards the front were not actually fully encased in solder. And this is the one design flaw that I will critique this for. It's a really common design flaw. Oh my gosh, is it common? And that is maintaining the mechanical durability of your interconnects on PCBs. This is so overlooked by engineers, and it's especially bad here, where you can see what they were trying to do is reduce the board size by, you know, a couple millimeters or whatever. And so, you know, the HDMI especially, it sticks out past the edge of the board. And in addition to that, they didn't use a lot of solder. And so, yeah, that's going to make this wobble a little bit, which ultimately affected the contacts in the back. And USB was the same issue. So, yeah, very, very common problem in design work, tisk engineers, and a result of many failures. But, you know, I put some excess solder there. I think for my purposes, hopefully it will last long enough. If I need to, I'll come up with a more, you know, maybe make a tiny PCB support or something, but that's pretty extreme. Obviously, this isn't getting moved around a bunch. It's just on my workbench, and then I have to move it forward every now and then. What I also want to do is actually create a strain relief for the HDMI cable itself. You can see it really sticks out quite a ways and is a little chunkier than I wish it was. But that's kind of unavoidable with HDMI because there's so much shielding required in this interface. So what I'm thinking, part of me just wants to drill a couple small holes in the case and run a zip tie so that this will run back, and then all the stress will be actually pulled on the case and not on the connector. I'm also going to see if I can just find a right angle micro HDMI connector, and that should solve some of my problems as well. As you can see, this is a right angle one. And I think this is the one that came with it, so I don't, yeah, maybe the right angle ones are hard to find. We will see. But that is a little rundown of the Andonstar microscope. You can clean the lens here every once in a while. I'll give it a better clean. I just gave it some alcohol. You can see it didn't like that. I actually don't think this is glass, which is another, I think it's plexi, which is kind of annoying. Would be nice if it was actually glass, but I'll see. Maybe it is, but it doesn't feel like it. No, it bends. It's not glass at all. Yeah. So that would have been nice, but you know, this thing is extremely affordable for what it's doing. I use it just about every single day. I love this microscope and this digital microscope with LCD. So yeah, I don't know. I have nothing but good things to say about this, and it's not sponsored in any way. It's just a thing that I really like. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you want to help me make microphone input for this, please let me know. I love hearing from folks if you want to leave a message below. But I don't really care if you click on any things, because these videos are just for fun and education. That's it for this one. This is Segasonicfan, signing out.